Hello and welcome to In Your Ward. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. On today's episode, we're going to take you on a journey through the 20th Ward with Alderman Craig Schmid. We're going to show you the massive turnaround taking place here on Cherokee Street. We're going to introduce you to several business and neighborhood association leaders and give you some rich history of this part of South St. Louis. So stay with us for In Your Ward, coming up next. This is Alderman Craig Schmid of the 20th Ward. Schmid is a lifelong resident of the city of St. Louis. He graduated with honors from St. Louis University's Law School and recently completed the Citizens Police Academy as class president, shown here with Chief Isom. Alderman Schmid is the chair of the powerful Legislative Committee, the vice chair of the Intergovernmental Affairs Committee. He also serves the Neighborhood Development, Housing, Urban Development and Zoning, and the Health and Human Services Committees.
I've been active and working on issues dealing with nuisance properties. We've done some legislation in the past dealing with loud music issues and the quality of life. It was not designed to take away people's fun. It was basically designed so that we would not disrupt other people's lives.
Independence Day celebrations are held annually in St. Louis, and Alderman Schmid has sponsored legislation aimed at reducing property damage and protecting kids from dangerous fireworks.
I think a lot of people really just think it's a fun time and they don't know that there's a lot of opportunity to do this in a safe, family-friendly way where they get to see the fireworks and they're not endangering their kids.
The 20th Ward is in South St. Louis. It serves several neighborhoods and is made up with very unusual boundaries.
It includes the neighborhoods of Benton Park West, Gravois Park, Marine Villa, and a bit of Dutchtown.
The border extends to Juniata on the north, Merrimack Street on the south, Grand Avenue on the west, and on the cusp of the Mississippi River on the east. After the 2000 census, the wards were restructured, displacing Schmid out of his area and over near the hill. This was unpopular to his constituents, and neighborhood leaders like Rita Ford fought hard to get their alderman back.
What we actually did, the bottom line, is to protest and let our voice be heard. And actually, when he came back for re-election, we were out there even stronger, and the people wanted him back. And we want, everybody wanted them back, so it wasn't really a hard thing to do to get them back.
Rita Ford, along with other folks in that area, were and still are very active people, and as part of that they were very concerned about trying to make sure that that team was not broken up, and I feel that I am part of that team.
But was the team really ever broken up?
Craig never missed a Gravois Park neighborhood meeting. He was still on board here, so he was working in both places 24/7. That's fantastic. But Joe, we want to thank you so much for doing such a great job in Gravois Park. You're our top cop.
Neighborhood leaders and the police department work together to fight crime in this neighborhood.
We talk about this all the time, watching out for your neighbors. So I think we've made some great strides with reducing crime around here. I think it's a safe neighborhood.
Alderman Schmid regularly attends all the neighborhood and business association meetings. He works cohesively with leaders of neighboring wards.
Because of the way the wards are, puzzle pieced together, we really need to work together, because just because you have a boundary line doesn't mean that it stops there. So, just because I'm standing on the south side of Cherokee Street doesn't mean I don't care what's happening on the north side.
Get up, get out of bed, fasten that seat belt. We're going to take you for a gospel ride with a song that my wife's got on the charts right now, #6 worldwide, all over the world, including Czechoslovakia. It's one entitled "Walking My Lord Up Calvary's Hill." Say it, honey, say it.
Slim Cox and his wife Zella Mae are well known around the world as gospel singers. They've been married over 62 years and have been touring the country for decades. They have produced 16 records and 7 CDs and even performed at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. Their music is on gospel and bluegrass charts around the world, and Slim uses this cozy studio inside his furniture store to record his radio show.
Smells like fire. Heard a great voice say, come up higher, John the Revelator, rode about the city of God. Yeah.
Slim and Zella Mae have also owned this furniture store at 2831 Chippewa for over 40 years. He has seen changes over the years and is confident that this part of the city is moving in the right direction.
We don't have as many businesses on Chippewa, but we are coming back.
Through good times and bad, Slim and Zella Mae held on to their business.
I've thought about closing this store up many a time. I thought about it. But where would I go? What would I have done? So I held on, and we're still here. And I tell the people this, I want to stay here until they carry me out, feet first.
Cox feels like the best way to slow down urban sprawl and revive an area is to stay put and welcome new neighbors.
Oh, Todd, you got me started on it. Let me tell you something. You can't move out of a neighborhood because the color's changing. Why not just say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. Glad to have you. Here's my card and phone number. If you have a problem, give me a call. If I have a problem with you, I'll come up and see you. But we work it out together as adults.
Slim and Zella Mae were elected to the St. Louis Radio Hall of Fame in 2005 and still reside in the 20th Ward.
Right to me, Slim Cox, 2831 Chippewa in beautiful South St. Louis, 63118-3827.
Marine Villa and Chippewa Neighborhood and Business Association leaders are teaming up with Alderman Schmid to beautify the 20th Ward.
We started on a beautification campaign where we started putting planters in front of all the businesses, and we did the signage so that we did a really very, very strong marketing brand for this area.
An area Betty Moore really targeted was Blue Frog Garden, located on Chippewa across from Cox Furniture.
Frog Garden is an area that the neighborhood has embraced.
And I stopped by here and saw this wonderful statue, and it was just covered in weeds. I mean, they were taller than I was, and there was virtually nothing here but a few trees and the iron fence around here. And after asking a few questions, I decided that this would really make a statement about how the future of this neighborhood could change just by changing one little corner.
You know, you could take two people on a block and change the block, one way or the other.
Over time, the Chippewa Broadway Business Association and Marine Villa, together with support from Gravois Park, and once in a while I've gone there and pulled some weeds and done the rest of it, but they've done a really terrific job, and there's a number of gardens like that.
So we've started with this frog garden, and we've branched out to the medians in front of the fountain down on Jefferson and Broadway. We've branched down to Minniewood Park. We've gone down to the firehouse. And it's just spread throughout the community. People now are feeling very excited to talk about this particular section of the neighborhood.
Pam Wucher is the president of the Marine Villa Neighborhood Association and is working with Alderman Schmid to preserve and find use for this historic firehouse on Broadway.
The firehouse used to serve the city from, I think, 1914 to 1968. So for about 54 years it served the community, and since then it's sat vacant for almost as long, a little over 40 years.
Broadway used to serve as the main north-south artery here in St. Louis until the construction of Highway 55 left this area near the old firehouse neglected. Now city leaders are finding ways to utilize this city treasure.
The interior first level is beautiful, the second floor needs some help, but we have all kinds of ideas and vision for what this firehouse really could do for the community. One of the most important things is it lies right on the St. Louis bike path. My vision and many of the residents' vision is that the firehouse would then one day serve as a hub to bicyclists that come by. Another thing it can do is serve the community as, you know, outfitting the second floor to have meeting rooms so that the neighborhood associations and business associations have a place to come and congregate and meet. It could be a wonderful event space.
It's definitely a great place to have a party, as recently the firehouse held an art fair with live music, face painting, and fun events for all. Now right here on the corner of California and Cherokee, it's kind of like Mexican corner. I mean,
well, it's Latino corner, and there are Mexicans, and we have folks from Central and South America. You've got some great new investment that Hilario Vargas is putting in here at the Bayasana. The authentic south of the border is right here on Cherokee Street. You have Carlos Dominguez over here at Latino Americana, which also now has a restaurant next door as well as the grocery store.
Okay.
So they're all doing very well. There's a number of bakeries up and down the street in addition to restaurants. And so you get a true flavor of the authentic south of the border. You have the retail and restaurant area, which then extends to basically Nebraska. Past Nebraska, we have almost what I've identified as the fringe, which is more of an artistic bent. And so we have a lot of young, energetic, artistic folks in that sort of their area, although all these areas sort of blend together.
Businesses like Style House, Fort Gondo Compound for the Arts, Cranky Yellow, Diana's Bakery, and Jackson's Pianos are prominent businesses catering to the artistic residents and consumers. El Chorrito's is a staple in the 20th Ward and has been serving up authentic Mexican cuisine since 1988. It's located at 2753 Cherokee Street.
The favorite thing, the favorite they like a lot of people is the parrillada. They serve us in the molcajete. So it's beef, chicken, pork, chorizo, shrimp, and the sauce and the molcajete, so the people very like that one.
The secret ingredient of parrillada is cactus, which Medina says is good for your heart. It's also served in volcanic rock, which keeps the juices piping hot.
You need to come to try, and they're going to like it, because they keep the food hot until you finish the eat. So it's very different, like fajitas. So I think I'm the first one I have parrillada in San Luis.
Well, right next door to the restaurant is the Supermercado. Customers line up for a smorgasbord of items featuring a wide variety of Latin fare like beautiful sombreros. The store sells clothing items and is a great place to pick up a new pair of boots or just about anything you would need for a party.
See, they're taking out the various trees that were here currently. They're going to replace those with new trees.
Cherokee Street is currently undergoing a major facelift.
We're interested in creating more bustle and traffic on our sidewalks, and as part of that we want to make sure that people have lighting so they can see where they're going and they feel the safety that currently exists on the street. And so every other hole there will be the pedestrian lighting that looks much like the antique lighting you see in front of the Fox Theater today.
There's a lot of vibrancy. You see people shopping, visiting the different kind of restaurants, a lot of an ethnic mix. Pretty neat. I see it coming back.
The Casa Loma Ballroom is one of the most famous entertainment venues in the city of St. Louis. It was founded in the 1920s, and this is a spot where Frank Sinatra once performed. Every Friday night, you can come out and check out the 5,000 square foot floating dance floor and listen to big band and orchestra music. On Saturdays, it's dedicated to rock and roll and golden oldies of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And on Sunday nights, come on out and check out the Hispanic flair with live music and dance. Thousands of people from around the region swarm to Cherokee Street each May as the Cinco de Mayo celebration runs through the heart of the 20th Ward.
It's the largest festival for Cinco de Mayo in the city of St. Louis, and certainly the most authentic because you have the people there who do it on a daily basis and bring all of that great cuisine in addition to the libations.
Oh, the Cinco de Mayo is very good, you know. It's a lot of people, they come in